Hi, and welcome to another video. I hope you all are doing good. So, today we will learn how to add clarity to your mixes, and one of the most effective ways of achieving a clear mix is to avoid mistakes altogether. And the most common obstacle which upsets a good mix are problem frequencies. Understanding and avoiding problem frequencies beforehand can save time when trying to create a clear mix. This will demystify the process of equalization. Now, let's talk about some key points regarding this problematic frequencies. So, number one, we should avoid excessive frequency built up throughout our track to create a well balanced mix. For example, if you have too much of mid range, it will sound muddy, too much of low end, and it will sound boomy, and too much of higher frequencies, and it will sound harsh. You have to learn how to balance these different frequency ranges properly when mixing. And secondly, our ears are particularly sensitive to frequencies ranging from 2 kilohertz to 4 kilohertz, which makes any built up in this range easily noticeable to us. And this range is commonly referred to as the harsh range. If you add too many sounds from this frequency range to your track, it will sound harsh due to oversensitivity of our ears, right? So it won't be comfortable for your listeners, and you cannot listen to this kind of music for long period of time. So be careful in this range around 2 to 4 kilohertz. Number 3 that we'll talk about is experimenting with incompatible instruments can be rewarding in its own way. So these instruments may sound great when played in isolation, right? Combining such incompatible instruments can be tricky. We should try to emphasize specific frequency ranges when combining such instruments. For instance, letting lots of electric guitar and they all are playing same chords in the same range. So, you know, it gets tricky to clear up your mix because there'll be a frequency built up in your low end, right? So avoid these mistakes, right? And for example, if let's just say we have a female and a child and a male in a room, it will become easier for us to listen to all of them, right? Because they all have different frequency range. So make sure to choose your instruments wisely, and it will help out later on in mixing stages. And number 4 is while recording an instrument, you have to make sure that you are recording it in the right environment. So if you have treated room, right, you can avoid harsh resonances of the room, and you should aim for correct mic settings so that no unwanted room resonances are recorded with your instrument, and your instruments are recorded in a right way, right? Now we'll move on to the most problematic frequency ranges. We'll talk about them, and you might be familiar with words like muddy, right, rumble, and harsh. So we'll talk about all these things and their specific frequency ranges. So the first range is rumble, that is 0 to 50 hertz, and rumble is often present in all recordings and should be removed unless you want to intentionally keep it in your mix as an artistic choice, or you can simply get rid of these frequencies by applying a high pass filter to your instruments, right? So that you can make room for your kick and bass, right? So, like, You should high pass your, you know, acoustic guitars, electric guitars around 80 to like 100 hertz, or like even 120 or more, right? It depends. So get rid of this rumbleness, and obviously in the later stages, in mastering stages, it'll eat up some headroom, and you won't be able to make your track as loud as you want to, right? And second range is mud, and which is from 200 to 300 hertz. And as we all know, this range poses a significant issue in many mixes, and particularly with the mid-range instruments such as electric guitar, keyboard, and vocals, because all of these three things, they are somewhere present in the mid-range, right? So getting rid of these frequencies will clear up your mix, but removing too much from this range can make your mix sound thin. So be careful with this range, right? Listen carefully. Otherwise, if you'll take out too much of energy from this range, your track will sound thin, right? And number three is the box range or boxy range, that is from 400 to 500 hertz. And reducing this on multiple tracks can enhance clarity and is an essential cut, especially for kick drum and other instruments like on snare. I guess you'll find this problem somewhere around 600, right? Obviously, you have to listen carefully, right? Fourth range is honk, right? And it's around 1K. Excessive frequency within this range can give your mix a nasal quality, and that is undesirable. It doesn't sound good, right? So make sure that you should filter your instruments around 1K, but obviously you have to listen carefully, all right, to avoid the nasal effect. And last range that we'll talk about is 2 to 4 kilohertz, and this is called harshness. This range is called harshness, right? So what happens is this is a crucial zone which should be monitored closely, as it can lead to ear fatigue for listeners. So, like we discussed earlier, any built up in this range can make your mix sound harsh. Now, what happens is our vocals are present here, our electric guitars are here, acoustic guitars, right? So, and this is like our ears are very sensitive to this range. You have to, make space and carve out some of these frequencies to warm up your mix, right? If you'll boost too much here, it will sound harsh, and when you listen to your mix on high volumes, right, it won't sound good, and you won't be able to listen to the music for long duration. So that's it for the video. Do try these techniques and let me know in the comments down below if they helped you or not. And if you have any questions regarding your mixes, feel free to comment, and definitely I'll reply. So thank you for watching the video. Till then, cheers and take care.